What is up, dudes and dudettes, and all our comrades in between? This is the Rad Left with James and Casey. Today's episode is brought to you by boofing. It gets you higher, quicker, and gives you the added bonus of getting a little bit of butt pleasure. So definitely look into it. They're a great sponsor, and we're glad to be sponsored by them. So I'm gonna hand it over to Casey for today's episode breakdown.
I learned something new from you every podcast. Last time I learned what GDP was. Now I learned about boofing.
Mm-hmm. Stick the drugs up your butt, kids.
Oh wait, I've heard of that. I just didn't know that's what it was called.
Yeah, boofing.
I know a girl that used to stick ecstasy up her bums. Her one bum. She
only had one bum?
Yeah. Anyways, what's going on today? Now, everything, apparently. Are we just getting older? Are things get crazier? I don't know. But right now, the big talk we're going to talk about is probably people going back to school during a pandemic. That's going to be the big one. Sending your kids back to school and what that's all about. We can also talk some more positive news about the progressive wins that have happened. That's something we'll probably cover. And back to the dark stuff. People in Portland getting yanked out of their houses from police arresting protesters from their cozy homes after protests, which we're hearing a little bit of that going around. Nothing 100% verified, but you know, that's what I've been hearing from some of the sources.
Jeez, just straight up fascism, huh?
Yep, right there.
Hooray!
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty creepy. But yeah, schools. Let's go with schools first.
Okay.
I have a child, and we are lucky to be able to keep him out of school because of the job situation, work from home and all that, and I work third shift. But I know a lot of people are not in that position, and that's scary and sad for them. And I think they already have a case in Georgia of a kid having come down. I think it was the first day of school. A kid has already come down.
My God.
Yep.
Seriously?
They already had to quarantine from what I heard. And if you see some of the pictures...
Jesus.
I think you sent me one of the pictures of what it looks like over there.
I'm going to pull it up.
It's not great.
Yeah.
It's like a freaking Chainsmokers concert.
Yeah, I believe this is the picture from...
Can they see it?
Yeah, I'm going to throw it up on the screen here.
Sweet, we got that thing now?
Second, and boom, there it is. We got it
man,
up
we're
on
like
the screen.
a real podcast. Streamcast.
So, for those of you just listening at home, or I'm assuming, or I guess you don't have to be at home to be listening to this, but for anybody who's listening, there's a picture that came out of the first day of school from Georgia. I'm trying to remember what city this is from.
God, is anybody wearing a mask in that picture?
It doesn't look like it.
There was another one where it had like at least 2 kids wearing a mask. Like, geez.
Yeah.
You want to look cool, though, guys.
There's probably all kinds of pictures like this, because that's not even the picture I saw yet. This is the one I saw.
Come on, man.
Yeah, just madness.
Like,
it's just this is the hellscape that we live in right now. I mean, look at this. Look at these kids. Most of these kids aren't even wearing masks.
No.
And you know, the 2 that are look like, or the 3 that I see that are, they just look horrified.
Like, oh God. I think someone's even taken a picture of them wearing their masks. Does that look like down in the corner?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Yeah, I got into a debate with an anti-masker today, and it's just...
Really?
They don't seem to understand. They can't go full circle with a conspiracy theory, because I'm like, look, okay, yeah, if there's someone trying to get us to all wear masks to somehow make us sick, I don't know. I mean, if this thing weren't invisible, if it wasn't an invisible virus, if it was smoke in the air or any kind of particle you could see... You would definitely wear a fucking mask.
Yeah, I mean, what's up with all... These are the same people that are afraid of, like, chemtrails and shit.
I know.
Like, you're afraid of chemtrails in the sky, but you're afraid of wearing a mask down here? Like, what the fuck?
Plus, they talk about taking away our freedoms, and they're taking away my freedom to go to the pool.
Oh, yeah.
To play concerts, we know all this, but they just can't go full circle with it. Plus, they don't seem to be able to grasp the concept that there could be some outside force trying to get them to not wear masks to bring us down from within. They just don't want to look at that. But that's, the whole cognitive dissonance thing.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, it's asinine to me. It's just like the most basic thing that you can do to like protect your fellow countrymen, fellow. I mean, You got to say it that way because so many people in this country, especially on that side of the argument, are nationalists. You know, this isn't a partisan issue, but if we have to make it that way, it's like you see these pictures going around that saying like your grandpa would be disappointed in you. You know, it's like he went and fought in World War II, he fought the Nazis, you know, lived through Pearl Harbor, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, all the horrors of that, and you won't put on a fucking mask to help your own family.
Plus, to do a little research, that's why the pandemic, the Spanish flu lasted so long, because people weren't wearing masks.
Right.
They had to make it like a law, which I'm sure there were people back then, like, the same dumb DNA is in our culture. It's never going to go away, sadly. And now that the other countries, all of their numbers have gone down drastically, like they're having no deaths, they're able to open things up again. They wore masks and they gave their people stimulus packages that actually helped. And that's what it is. They paid people not to go to work and they got through it. They're done with it for now.
Yeah. Yeah. I just looked it up, but the Spanish flu, or I guess it's not the proper term for it. I don't want this to go down as a Chinese flu.
Right. Yeah.
And as somebody of Spanish descent, no, I don't really care, but like it's, yeah,
We
whatever.
saw
The
what-
1918 flu. It lasted until 1920 in this country. It lasted 2 years. Can you imagine 2 years of this shit?
I thought it lasted a decade. Maybe I heard it wrong.
The effects of it probably,
Yeah.
is probably like, because I had heard talks about this thing like coming back like every winter or whatever, and like just kind of being like this ever-present thing in our modern.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's what we want.
Yeah.
So if you hear anything we say that you don't like, or you want to discredit it, or you want to just disagree, or give us some information we will change our minds when we are brought with good information that makes us think differently. We are open-minded. I'm staring at the book, The Doors of Perception by Aldous Huxley right now, just to show you how open-minded we are. We have the book in our studio. Anyways, so go ahead and write in the comments and talk to us so we can also try out this new comment app, because every show this gets better. And thank you for the listeners that have listened, because we're getting some listeners, and that's exciting because we need a voice. Don't we need a voice? I feel like so many people
absolutely.
have voices right now, but not really.
Yeah.
We don't.
The left is sadly left behind as far, which is weird to me because most of the I heard an analysis about it last night that like the left we spend too much time on stuff like because we're like artists, we're passionate about things. So it's like, oh, hey, here's my passion project that I've been working on for 8 years, or whatever, and look at it. And it's like this deep, thoughtful, emotional, like emotionally resonant and powerful thing. But it's just that. It's like a one, it's like a project.
Yep.
Like a one-stop shop. Where the right is able to just like go on YouTube. They're able to stream and just pump out vitriol and just say whatever comes to their heads, which is usually white supremacist, white nationalist bullshit, and just go unchecked.
Yeah.
And they can just every single day just be like, oh, and here's the news, and this is why I refute this. Like, did you see the body cam footage for George Floyd?
No, I did not watch it. I can't bear to watch that kind of stuff. It really affects me like negatively. I just can't. I should watch it, and I'm sure
if
it's
it's
awful.
affecting your mental health.
I don't want. I saw a video the other day of a puppy getting eaten by a boa constrictor on accident. I don't know why someone posted that, and it just fucked me up for 3 days. So I can't. I used to be able to watch that stuff. I just can't do it, man. Maybe it's from being around my kid too much.
Yeah.
I've become very sensitive.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. I mean,
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with being sensitive. In fact, I think that's a good trait to have.
I try to drink it away.
Yeah, drink it away. That's man up and have a glass of whiskey.
Get whiskey and just watch puppies get eaten by boa constrictors.
That's what us men do.
So what was your thoughts on the Floyd video?
So it's not so much the body cam footage because for everybody who's seen it, who's on the left or who is sympathetic to the Black Lives Matter movement or just black people being murdered in general, like no new information happened. Nothing new happened. So we already knew from the autopsy that George Floyd was under the influence of fentanyl, We already knew that. That's old information.
Right.
So when the officer approaches the van where George Floyd is in, he's like in the driver's side. He already has his gun drawn, so that's some new information, I guess. But then he, opens the door, and George Floyd is acting, not sober. Basically,
yeah, right.
He's acting strangely because he's on drugs. He is.
Yep.
Nobody's refuting that.
Right.
And so, and then the cop is saying, "Hey, put your hands on the steering wheel." So he puts his hands on the steering wheel, and then he's like, "Now put your hands on your head." And he's like, "Okay." So he puts his hands on his head, and he's like, "Put your hands up." And he's just yelling all these hand gesture commands,
which is always good to do when someone's already freaking out. Just yell,
just
things
yell
at
commands
them,
at him.
create
Yeah.
more energy. That's negative. That's always great.
Yeah.
I'm being sarcastic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Of course. What's the name? I'm sorry. There's so many victims right now. What's the name of that guy who was shot in a hotel? The white man.
Oh shoot! Yeah, I know.
In hotel for having a pellet gun.
Yeah, I don't remember the name of that guy, but that one's really
Daniel Shaver.
Yeah.
So exactly like the case with Daniel Shaver. You just see these cops. You saw that video, I'm assuming?
That one I did see.
It's pretty old.
Where he's just begging the guy, basically, like, don't shoot me.
Yeah, don't. And the guy is yelling these constant commands at him.
Yeah.
Put your hands out front. Put your hands on your back. Stand, get up on your knees. Get down on your belly. Like, he's just yelling all these commands, and the guy is just, crying and just,
Like he wants him to
begging.
fuck up. Yeah,
he does, yeah.
He wants him to fuck up.
He's freaking out. And then he's like, come forward with your hands behind your back, and he starts moving. He's like, don't come any closer, and then shoots him. And it's just this crazy, I don't know. It's this shitty game that you have to play with the cops, and if you don't do it exactly right, you get killed. And so that's the first thing that we're seeing from this body cam footage. So he's acting kind of irrationally, and then they pull him out of the car, or out of his car, and then try to put him into the cop car. And he's, obviously upset and doesn't want to do that.
Yeah.
So he, is saying he doesn't want to go. So they pull him out, and right before they get him down on the ground to put, his knee on his neck, where he eventually is murdered.
Now, how many minutes was that again, Dave?
8:46.
Yeah, 8:46.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so right before that happens, he says, "I can't breathe." And okay, so there's a couple of takeaway points, because it's less about the footage and more about the reaction from from the right and people who are against Black Lives Matter. And they came out and said, "See, we've been rioting over this, over a lie," saying that because he said "I can't breathe" before the cop put his knee on the back of his head, that this is all a hoax. That this was an intentional race. I don't know, race baiting or
they're trying to create
like a false flag scenario or whatever. And then the other thing is that we are able to see George Floyd behaving erratically. He was at no point was he a danger to himself or the cop.
Right.
But he is acting strange because he is on drugs. This is a fact we already knew.
Yep.
But seeing that has given all of these conservatives and all of these folks who were just ready to, decry the whole movement, gave them the perfect opportunity to say, "Look, it was justified. Look at that behavior, and he should have just got in the car, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera."
Which there's no way anyone that's already thinking that way and doesn't see that's an illegal move that police officers doing. You're not supposed to put your knee on someone's neck for fucking 10 minutes.
Yeah. All of that's beside the point.
Yeah.
And it's and that's what anybody who saw the body cam footage, who is, is sympathetic with the Black Lives Matter movement, nothing has changed for them.
No.
They saw a man who was on drugs and who was acting, and the whole time he's saying, "You guys did this to me before. You guys shot me before. I don't want to do that again." He's like, "I can't believe this,"
And wasn't it over just $20 or something?
It was a alleged counterfeit $20 bill.
And how can we believe them anyways? Because you've seen the footage they did recently. We've seen of the family that's all put out on the ground, right? The family that's all set They're all crying. Have you seen that one that's
No,
been
I
going around?
haven't,
Oh,
no.
look that one up. Family, they were wrongfully accused. That's like the newest one, and they're all crying. And they were looking for someone who stole a motorcycle, but for some reason they ran the plates of a van that had a black family in it, and basically, terrorized them. Nobody gets shot, thank God. But
What am I looking for?
and just look up wrongfully accused
accused.
van. Put van.
Man.
That'll probably get you something.
I saw the video. Did you see the one of the guy getting arrested in the Walmart for buying a bike for his son?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
saw that one. Yeah.
This doesn't seem to have.
Dang it, where is that? It's like
I think I'm gonna need more words than
Yeah.
family wrongfully accused van.
van by cops. Try by cops.
Cops.
Kansas City police. Yeah. Oh no, that's
This one?
not it. No.
No.
God, where that was
There's
like
just so
almost
many-
all over the place.
Hmm.
It would have been like within the last couple days.
Hmm.
Anyways, if
Well-
anyone can give us that footage, throw it in the comments. But it's just basically the kids are screaming, crying, asking for their dad, and there's like no reason
It was
anyone.
an SUV in Colorado.
Yeah, maybe that was it. Yeah, there you go.
This first one.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the Aurora.
Yeah,
The
that-
Aurora police. Of
yeah.
course it is. These motherfuckers. All right, let's switch over to that. Yeah, so there's the family.
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
So there's a video, huh?
Yeah. Do we show it? Should we show it?
Yeah, why
All
not?
right.
What's happening? There's kids.
Jesus.
There's kids. They had guns on kids. They had guns drawn on kids.
So yeah, there's the whole family. For those of you just listening, there's a whole family splayed out on the floor or on the ground of a parking lot.
And this was apparently over someone stealing a motorcycle, but it's obviously an SUV. They should have never even ran the plates, but these kids are scared, scarred for life, probably already horrified of cops, and now they're going to be. It's fucking ridiculous, man.
Yeah,
and people
I
wonder
mean-
why there's so much hatred towards the police right now.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. Yeah, that's awful.
But
yeah,
anyone-
and it's the Aurora police too. What is up with them?
I don't know. It's always the same departments. Seems like.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all tied in. Anyone that defends the police usually always has a relative. Like I know a girl from back home's always defending the cops, and it's because her brother's a cop, and it's just like, man. I mean, I get it. Like I know. Then I have friends that have relatives that are police that understand completely. They're like, yeah, this is some fucking bullshit. So they're.
Yeah. Did you see that you remember that one cop that wrote pig on his Starbucks
Yeah,
cup?
yeah.
And then his daughter came out on Twitter and said, "No, he wrote that himself. That is something he."
I did. I
absolutely
heard about
did."
that.
Yeah.
I heard about that.
Yeah.
That's funny. I love when someone's own kids call them out. It's
Yep.
like,
Yeah, it's good. Especially cops. Fuck cops.
yep. So let's go back. What
Yeah,
were your
so-
thoughts on the school opening?
Oh yeah, okay.
If you want,
all the way back. So I think that's fucked up. I mean, that's just ridiculous. And just to add to it, it's ridiculous that we have this pandemic and that we don't have universal health care and we don't have proper stimulus going out to us.
Yeah.
That they're bickering over another $1,200 and trying to add about like $30 billion to the military budget, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
But then we have the people, the bootlicking people who are anti-mask during all of this, still saying that it would cost too much for universal health care and people are just going to abuse it, that they're going to use too much health care. Like, what is that? But so the latest trend here in Columbus, this was last night, these are folks, for those of you listening, there was a protest last night for folks protesting against virtual learning plans. So that's the plans that you can teach your students via like Zoom or something over the internet, so that they don't have to endanger themselves and everybody else around them.
Yeah.
Like a bunch of plague rats.
Yeah, which we've already had, like we said earlier, already had one case in Georgia when school opened. There's already been I think it was a second grader who has coronavirus, and now all the kids are quarantined. So it's going to be a
like the
huge
entire
disaster.
school?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I talked to some of my son's teachers who are just so thankful. Like they were so worried about this. Like, man,
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. Like I have no like I have to go back.
Yep.
But now they don't. But then these fucking assholes are trying
Yeah.
to get it back going again. It's
So
like,
this is in our city. This is in Columbus. This isn't like a national story. This is from the Dispatch. So this gentleman here, is holding a sign saying "Get back in class or get another job."
the fuck does that even mean?
He's talking to the teachers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's saying
I thought he was talking to the kids. It's like what
this one's even worse. My kitchen is not a classroom. Be the difference. It's like, oh my god.
what a fucking jackass.
Yeah, he's wearing an American flag bandana to cover his face. Like all these people, well, some of these people are wearing masks, which
You are
is-
all basically saying I don't give a fuck about
Yeah.
my kids.
and it's like, okay, so, Betsy DeVos said that only what did she say? Like only 0.05% of kids are gonna die or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's like she admitted that like it was like a good thing, and
Yeah, like,
that's 16,000 kids.
Yeah.
How about no kids die?
Yeah. You can do that,
And
Yeah.
That's not including any kind of brain damage that's done.
Right.
That they've shown that it does brain damage. I mean, you can't have like your oxygen system like
Right.
corrupted for that long without
People have
hurting
had
your-
lung issues. I know a
Yeah,
girl going through it
lung
right now.
issues.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
just ongoing neurological things
Uh-huh.
and stupid man.
Yeah, so that doesn't include that, and it obviously doesn't include the fact that there are teachers, all the rest of the faculty, janitors, etc., and then parents.
Yep.
And then the parents have to go to work, and this is how spreading happens. Like if I was gonna spread something, I would start at a school.
Yeah.
In fact, if you watch V for Vendetta, that's exactly what the government did.
Yep.
They poisoned a school, and caused a global, like a national freak out.
Yeah.
And then claimed martial law and blah blah. Like,
Yeah, and the stories of kids not being able to get it, it's getting more and more like just this thing is because we've had it around for so long. I think it's mutating, and there's talks that there's 6 different strains of it. So
Jesus.
like you could get the one that nobody gets hurt by, but you also could get the one where like you're dead in 3 days. So it's pretty fucked up.
Yeah, and it's like, do you really want to play Russian roulette like that, especially
No.
with kids as the pawns?
No man, I worry
way.
about my kid too much
Oh,
already.
dude, I don't understand. Look at these kids. What kind of a parent
I know.
has? And so we're looking at a picture from the rally where there's just a bunch of little girls holding up signs saying, "Please let me go to school." Face to face.
My kid doesn't want to go to school. He's fine with not going to school.
Yeah, what's up with kids these days? I didn't want to go to school. Oh my god. Another dude holding up a sign says, "When did fear and paranoia become de facto policy?" To answer your question, dude, I don't. How long ago? Or when did we start using fear to manipulate the public? Casey,
since
do you
there
know?
was a public,
Yeah.
at the time somebody gained control.
The second that a hierarchy was
Yeah.
first formed.
Yep. I mean, religion is a pretty good way to.
Oh yeah,
If you don't believe this, you're gonna go to the burning fire hell.
I'm gonna burn.
Did you hear Herman Cain died of coronavirus?
Oh yes,
That's intense.
yes. After attending, they think that he got it from a rally in Tulsa, where he was not wearing a mask, along with a bunch of other White House staffers.
Wow.
And another dude somebody came into contact with Barr, so that's going to be interesting. What is his official title? Barr.
I don't know, but I don't like him.
Yeah, I can't even remember his first name right now. Jesus Christ.
How are you guys out there doing? You guys got anything for us? You want to throw anything at us to talk about, or just
Bill
want to say
Barr.
hi?
Attorney General.
Just tell us you're out there. We like to know. We're entertainers, and we like entertainment. We like to be known. Is somebody talking to us there? Is that my wife?
Yeah, Jessica, your wife says,
Hi, honey.
Jelly Ann Conway's daughter has an anti-Trump TikTok.
Weird.
Jelly Ann. Oh, and then she corrected it. Kelly Ann, yeah.
Kellyanne. I like Jellyanne. Jellyanne's better. Interesting.
Yeah.
That'd be neat to see.
Jelly Ann.
Thanks, honey.
Yeah. Craziness.
Yeah, go ahead and write us. Did we ever test the comments coming up?
Yeah, it doesn't pop out, so
Okay,
I'm not going to
that's
be able
fine.
to. When we switch over to Twitch, it'll be on the screen and everything, so that we can interact better.
That is the goal, to build up enough viewers here that we just switch on over to Twitch. Switch to Twitch.
Yep, that's the.
We got a plan, guys.
We got a better plan than the schools do.
We sure do. They have no
COVID.
plan.
They don't have a plan. Like that's just been the thing. Betsy DeVos, when asked what their plan was, said that we'll come up with a plan when it comes time for that.
Oh, did you see?
And it's like, that's not a plan.
No. And did you see that interview where they just keep asking, and she keeps saying, kids need to go to school. She keeps just repeating, kids need to go to school. So let's talk about this Trump interview. What's the deal with the Trump interview you're telling me? Is it the Axiom one?
Yes. So the Axiom one, my God. So this awesome journalist, man, I'm having a bad time with names today.
That's okay.
Jonathan Swan, yeah. Excellent fucking interview where he just basically sits there and roasts Donald Trump for 30 minutes while Donald Trump stumbles through some maniacal nonsense stuff. Like, honestly, man, there was a moment, and this is weird. This is gonna sound weird, but there was a moment I actually felt bad for the guy because I'm like, man, he has no awareness at all. He has no idea.
Yeah,
who he
he's
is.
not smart.
He's just losing it.
Yeah, he's had everything handed to him. I mean, that book from his niece says it all. Like, my whole thing is like, yes, if you're abused by your father emotionally and you just were born in a very, materialistic world. I mean, a lot of people have, and they see that as a bad thing, and then they go as far away from that as possible and try to do the opposite of that. And that's called changing things for the better. And you could choose to be a good person, Donald Trump, and not just continue these horrible, toxic trademarks that you're so well known for. But nope, he just doubled down. Now he's making his kids that way, and they also have choices. By the way, you all have those choices too. What are his kids' names? Ivanka?
Yeah, Ivanka, Trump Jr.
Trump Jr.
And
Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah, and then there's Kushner, who's Ivanka's husband. I don't know. They're all a bunch of mannequin-looking.
They all want to take
fake people.
They're part of the Trump dynasty. They want to. Yeah. Sadly, as long as humankind lasts, which don't worry, it might not be very long, we're going to have a Trump to vote for. I guarantee you. There will always be someone with a Trump name coming in, and there will always be idiots voting for that guy because the name, because that's how shallow they are, and they know that gold flashy name means I can be a racist. I don't have to think. I can say shitty things about fat people or whoever I want, even though I'm a fat person myself. Doesn't matter. I can be a hypocrite.
Yep.
You can just be a shithole person.
Yep. Well, and this is what is known as Trumpism. It's the how the whole climate of politics changed in was it like 2014.
Yeah.
People are talking about there was a time when this was like respectable, and I think that's all horseshit. But it really got down into some reality TV esque, and who would have guessed that would have come at the hands of a reality TV star?
Yeah,
who was famous for just being an asshole.
Yeah, he is the worst possible president and person that could be holding that office at this time in history. Like, we do not have time to be fucking around with this shit.
No.
Like, climate change is right here.
Yep.
And all this, I was listening to a guy today, the global problem is climate change. Then the next problem that kind of comes from that in a sense, one way or the other, because it ties along with capitalism and denial, and we got the coronavirus. And then under that, you've got the riots and everything. And then down lower, you got your own... So it's like there's 4-dimensional layers of shit slowly coming down towards us.
Yep.
Let's talk about some good news, though. Progressive wins.
Yeah.
Who won? I'll get the names.
So we have earlier in the year, or a couple months, was like a month ago or something, it was Jamal Bowman won. And then last night in Missouri, it was, what was her name?
Cori Bush.
Cori, yeah.
Cori Bush. We got Rashida Tlaib and Pramila Jayapal, who also won landslide re-election victories. I'm not sure if that was also in Missouri. I'm not seeing where they won, but getting this from the Bernie site, which our good friend Dusty Estep posted. He's a pretty radical dude.
She's Rashida's in Michigan.
Isn't she one of the
squad?
The squad, yeah.
Yep.
Cool. Good. Well, that's good.
Yep.
But then on the bad news front, not to give you more, I'm seeing where it looks like Mitch McConnell is not losing at all, which I don't understand how.
He's up 13 points the last that I saw. I understand how. The DNC fucked over Cory Booker.
Oh, he was the one going up against him?
Yep, and he is a progressive, and he was awesome. And man, if you look at the big tell with his the whole campaign was the spending difference between him and Amy McGrath, who is the one running against Mitch McConnell, and she's complete imperialist, colonizer, normal fucking centrist.
Right.
And she spent like millions of dollars on her campaign to in her primary, and Booker spent hardly anything, like small percentages of like versus what she did, and he was beating her for like I remember I was like watching the results like every day, and it took like a long time for them to count it. Like they could not call it, and the amount that he spent or she spent and the amount that he spent, like it's laughable. It just shows that the American people are ready for fucking change.
Yep.
And actual change, not that Obama shit.
No, actual change. And we're not going to get it as long as these power structures are in play. And that's where it takes you all, and that's why we do the podcast, because, guys, we got to stop believing in the myth of the two-party system. That football game's an old football game. It's been going along for a long time, and neither of those sides are really on your side, because unfortunately they have too many like-minded corporate interests, and we're just going to keep repeating this shit. You've heard this before, but just for those of you that we can help understand, we need to all back progressive candidates.
Yep. At the local level, starting at the local level, like get out and vote. Here's the thing, and like this is something that I would like to point out, because I'm very vehemently like anti-Biden. And voting for Biden, the way that like this could work is, and one of the main arguments that I have for not voting for him is that we got to stop showing the DNC that we'll do whatever they want, and just back down and vote blue no matter how many times they fuck us over. But for that to actually work, for us to like stick it to them and say we're not going to do that every year, we're not going to back you no matter who. We actually have to turn up so that the DNC can see that they are missing out on votes. Because here's the thing, guys. Y'all didn't show up for the primary. Y'all didn't. The youth vote was not there. And it's just like history all over again.
Yep.
You guys did not go out and vote for Bernie. You guys did not show up.
Nope.
And like it didn't matter. I don't know if everybody like lost faith after North Carolina. I don't know what happened, but you need to get out and vote. And so if you cannot stomach voting for Biden like me, go out and vote. Vote for the progressives on your local ticket and write in Bernie or vote green. Or I don't recommend voting libertarian, but just put your vote out there so that they can show. Look at the youth vote that turned out for this election and didn't go to Biden, and we can show the DNC that we are a force to be reckoned with, because the youth vote is the most important, most coveted, and most mythological voter block that there is, and it has just never turned out, and we need to change that.
I have a question for you, but first I want to see who wrote Hale?
Yeah. Han said, do you think cutting alcohol sales to 10 p.m. is really helpful? And that's in reference to the COVID. So here in Columbus, bars have to close at 10. I don't know if that's statewide, but what do you think?
I always buy enough alcohol that it doesn't affect me, and I don't drink out at bars. I haven't gone to a bar for a while because I have noticed that kind of seems to be, knowing me and how alcohol affects me, I think less about the future. I take these bologna and pickle sandwiches, spray some mayonnaise on top of them, and it's the best goddamn food you'd ever want. But thinking about that
You have
now,
mayonnaise spray?
I don't know. I do have butter spray, but I haven't tried that. That does sound good. My wife gets very sick, and that's a whole thing. I mean, she's disgusted by she's just disgusted by me in general. But that, I also eat this to antagonize her in a very Fred Armisen type way. That's what me and my boy do. But what I'm saying is I don't think about the future when I'm drinking very much. And that's also going to cause you to not wear a mask, and all kinds of other things that happen. So I'm not like 100% against it. Like I said, just buy some alcohol and drink it home. Drink it home, kids.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, okay, it's stupid. Like, I've seen all these memes. It's like, shh, be quiet so the coronavirus doesn't get us after 10,
Yeah.
And it's like, that's funny, like, because, like, the coronavirus doesn't care what time it is. But here's the thing. We've all been to bars. Let's be honest with ourselves. What the fuck happens after, I'm not going to put a time on it, but once it gets later, once we all start getting drunk, we're so in each other's faces. We're not caring about things.
Licking each other.
Yeah, we're just like licking each other's
You're not
assholes.
thinking about
we're
boofing.
We're going to, oh my God, ass to ass.
Let me tell you, boofing was not created by a sober person. It was not. But
or it was created by a sober person who really didn't want to be.
Now, I understand all the... Yeah, that's very true. I understand all these things about... There is a thing that seems to happen, like during 9/11, where, we're still having to take our shoes off at airports. I mean, none of the policies have been taken away. I mean, I guess the threat of terrorism is still out there. But that is one sucky thing that happens.
It's at home now. Haven't you heard?
Yeah,
Antifa.
I know. Well, exactly. There's that. Yeah,
we're trained... Apparently, we're trained by ISIS.
That's right. Though Antifa have never killed anybody...
0 kills, guys.
Yep. But geez,
those are rookie numbers.
Yeah.
If
you're going to get called a terrorist organization, you got to start.
Yeah.
But what about these white supremacists? They've got you beat. These Christian white supremacists are making you look like weak terrorists.
White domestic terrorism is by far the biggest source of terrorism in this country.
But don't tell that to a white domestic terrorist.
Yeah, don't tell them. Don't tell them.
They seem to have this thing called denial.
Yeah. That's one of the characteristics of fascism. Like that there's like a 14-point list that you can check to see if something is fascist, and that's one of them, actually. Saying that your enemy is both weak and strong at the same time.
Yep.
And that is absolutely what's happening with Antifa, because they're saying these like libertarian right-wing gun nut jobs are saying, a bunch of pussies living in their parents' basement.
Yeah.
I'll fight the shit out of them. They come near me, I'm gonna run them over with my car, my truck.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah, and then also saying these dangerous terrorists
Yep.
are not American. They're here to destroy the whole American fabric, like tear the fabric of America.
Yep.
And they have that capability, I guess.
Double
yet
talk.
They're living in the basement.
Right.
Yeah.
The double talk. Yeah, exactly. And that reminds me of something you were saying earlier, which is a good point. You were talking about how they're not trying to make some magical art piece to that, like, that affects people. They're just constantly bombarding you, like you said, over the internet, saying with these stupid little sound bites, these stupid little, but
looking at you, Ben Shapiro.
Exactly. And the weaker minded, I'm going to say the people that are more susceptible to this kind of thinking, their brains are going to eventually get pummeled down. Just look at what Fox News has done to our grandparents and shit.
Yeah.
It's eventually...
Looking at you, Tucker Carlson.
Exactly. The brain has a tendency to, if it hears something enough, it starts to react to it, unfortunately. Like, sound and words really do carry vibrations. That's why it's important to, when people meditate and they have a mantra, they create something positive to say to themselves, to get rid of all the negative brainwashing that's happened. But you're getting brainwashed by these people. And, if you start thinking things like, wow, maybe Antifa are the bad guys, or maybe Trump's got a point there, then you got to watch yourself, because you might be a redneck. I pulled out some old what's that guy's name?
Jeff Foxworthy.
Jeff Foxworthy.
I wasn't sure where that was going to end up.
I had to throw it
that's
there.
That's good. Yeah. That's a classic.
Are all rednecks bad? They're the ones I've met pretty much are, but
I mean, no, not funny enough.
Yeah.
The phrase redneck came from actually people who wore red bandanas.
Communists?
They were people, basically, yeah. They
Interesting.
were workers who were trying to form unions
Oh.
Back in the let's see. When was that? Rednecks unions.
I am very interested in communism and the concepts of it and the different types of it. And, I get confused by the Chinese being communist and then like democratic socialism. So we are going to have a show all about this with a guest at some point.
Breakdown, yeah.
Because I feel like
can
you have a
do-
lot to teach me there.
Yeah, I can do a quick rundown for you.
Okay. Yeah, maybe a
So-
quick one.
So there really hasn't ever been a true form of communism ever in this world.
Because someone always fucks it up.
Yes,
Right.
and it's usually fucked up because of, ironically, capitalism.
What?
Yeah, I know. Isn't that crazy?
Come on.
Yeah, it's true. Capitalism fucks up communism most of the time. I mean, like in Venezuela, in Brazil, all of these places trying their best, like Cuba, like trying their best to do an actual socialism.
Like what just
and-
happened to Bolivia. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or I said Brazil. I meant Bolivia. Yeah.
Yep. But same thing. I mean,
yeah.
the one guy's Bolsonaro. He's like their Trump, right?
Yeah,
And he's the bad guy. Then they got rid of Evo Morales. I
Right.
think is his name. But go ahead. Yes.
Yeah.
And we do this all the time, by the way. Yeah.
Yes. And China's no exception. At one point had like communist tendencies, but at this point is just becoming fascist like the rest of the world.
But they still call themselves communists, just like we
Right.
call ourselves a democracy.
Right.
Right.
And
I'm starting to get it.
And just like the National Socialists or the Nazis
Yeah.
called themselves socialists.
Just like Christians call themselves Christians when they don't give a fuck about other people.
Yeah.
Wow, you can call yourself something that you're not?
You can label yourself whatever, man.
I'm a millionaire.
You are a millionaire.
Yeah.
Yes. And just
You're a
you said
country.
that.
Remember we said you were
I'm
a
a
co-
whole country.
He's a
so
country of James. I'd live there.
I'm going to take it back. There has only been one country in this world that has ever been actually a communist country, and that's me.
The country of James.
The country of James.
There should be a country of James. I feel like in the middle of Africa. James.
Yeah.
James, Africa.
The source
Yeah.
of life in the center of Africa.
Do we want to cut away to a clip right now? Or,
Oh, yeah, I guess we-
from a sponsor?
Let's see.
If you guys are hurting for some new music, we got a sponsor for you.
Yeah, we've got a new ad, and so everybody prepare. Oh, by the way, folks who are just listening to this, there's a visual element for this, so you can find it on our YouTube channel. But yeah, here's our latest sponsor.
Hey guys, remember 2016?
Wasn't that a great year for moderate music and ideas?
Well, it's back again.
Music for moderates, too! With remakes of all your favorite hits. Classics like Middle of the Road,
I just wanna be on the middle of the road. No changes gonna come, no change is gonna come, no change for me. I got the Bernie Bros blues. Why won't they stop talking to me? Them Bernie Bros gonna lose. Get away from me, Bernie Bros.
The Centrist Shuffle, Moving to the Right,
Moving to the right. Moving to the right. No left, no more, 'cause we're moving to the right. Century Shuffle.
I Don't Want No Riots,
I don't want no riots in my town. I just want clean water and friends to sit around and mess up my day or mess up my night with your silly little arguments and silly little fights. I don't want no riots no more.
Lesser of Two Evils,
It's a lesser of two evils, yeah, pick one. Doesn't really matter 'cause they're all gonna fuck you, son.
I Don't Wanna Try,
I don't wanna try. I don't wanna try. I don't wanna try for nothing no more. I'm scared of change.
Hey, let's compromise. Again.
Hey, let's compromise again.
Or who could forget this gem? Vote blue no matter who.
Vote blue no matter who. It doesn't matter what you want. Vote blue no matter who. We're all gonna have to give up. Vote blue no matter who.
You'd have to be some kind of moron leftist to pass up a deal like this.
Hey there, my name is Christy Johnson Sadler, and I'm the Paranormal Hypnotist. I teach people how to connect with dimensional energies and explore hidden knowledge and memories to create positive change in their life.
And I'm Alex, the not-so-important co-host and half-hearted audio engineer with an eager ear for the paranormal. Do you like listening to scary stories around the campfire? Or trading tales of intrigue around the water cooler?
Maybe watching Leonard Nimoy on In Search Of, or Robert Stack on Unsolved Mysteries.
Have you ever stayed up till 4 a.m., chain-smoking cigarettes, pounding energy drinks and Cheetos, researching the underhanded imperialist satanic reptilian plot housed in the underground Masonic-funded temples, hell-bent on suppressing the existence of Bigfoot while keeping the Ark of the Covenant at the bottom of the Oak Island money pit in order to continue the status quo of the riot-inducing question of which way to face a toilet paper roll?
Wow, all that from around a campfire, huh? I think you need some new hobbies.
Don't tell me what I need. All I need is to get into Camp David, then find out who has the key passes to the Dolce Bay.
He'll be back. Catch us every week on the Supernatural Tendencies podcast, where we'll cover oddities, conspiracies, and things that go bump in the night. See you soon.
Yep. All right, those were our sponsors right there. Pick up that music, music for the middle too, and check out the podcast. What were they called again?
Supernatural Tendencies.
Yes, Supernatural Tendencies.
Yeah.
Sorry. I watch a lot of paranormal stuff, and I know their stuff's good, so check it out.
Yeah.
So let's wipe the deck of anything we were just talking about, because I'm sure we're going to come back to all those points again 1,000 times.
Yeah. There will never be an end of me providing reasons not to vote for Biden.
Right.
And telling people to vote.
And explaining communism.
Yeah,
Yep,
exactly.
which I think you did.
We'll keep going through little mini lessons of that, and maybe one day we'll actually tackle it in its entirety when I actually have an actual grasp on it.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot, man. It's complicated.
Yeah. Well, the more you practice explaining it, the better. That's one good thing about Facebook debates is I've found where I stand with people. You know, I've really honed in my personal, where I'm at personally with my beliefs that are pretty strong. And once again, I am not a fucking politician. I like to think of myself more as a social scientist. And like a good social scientist, I will change my mind if brought something that causes me to change my mind. Like I'm not going to stay, I'm not going to stay solid on these things just to prove a point or to show some sort of toughness. Like
right. Yeah, I mean, there are so many people so much smarter.
Oh yeah.
Than me, and I mean, it should be evident if you're listening to me talk at all. But I'm always trying to learn, and this is just like a learning experiment for me. So, so definitely, if you have a problem with anything we're saying, jump on the live stream, shoot us a comment on YouTube. We do upload the episodes from every day onto YouTube, and
we'll get to it.
Yeah, and we'll address it. Soon we'll have a phone number that you can call in, and you can even leave voicemails, and we can play them over the air, and we'll address all of your issues. So definitely outsmart us, and
we want it
to hear from you. Yeah.
We want to be made feel stupid. We like it.
I love it.
We're gluttons for punishment. We're musicians.
Yes.
That's what musicians do. We put ourselves up in front of people and say, look at me with my pants off.
Narcissus wasn't obsessed with himself because he was in love with himself. Did you know that?
No.
Narcissus was obsessed with himself because he hated himself, and he wanted everybody else to hate him as much as he did.
Interesting. I get that a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't think hating yourself is necessarily horrible. I don't think you should deep down hate yourself. I think we should all love ourselves, but you should hate the things that suck about you. You should maybe not condone everything and be all right with every little thing you do, because like how are you going to change? And like they say to embrace those sides of yourself, but I think I learned from like someone telling me, hey, to my face, being authentic and being like, that's fucking dumb what you just said there. Or,
Hey, Casey, that's fucking dumb what you just
yeah,
said
thank
there.
you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you. See?
Be better.
Yeah, be best.
Be best.
She said that. I swear to God, she said that. That was Melania. Okay, so what do you think about Bernie endorsing Biden? How does it make you feel about Bernie Sanders, our hero, possibly fallen hero?
Yeah. I've never been stoked about that endorsement. And I got a lot of flack for criticizing him for it. People saying, well, what did you think he was going to do? And it's like, I thought he was going to endorse Biden. Of course I did. Just because I expected it and I was right doesn't mean that
I'm
happy about it.
We also expect the cops to beat the shit out of protesters. It's not something we
we're
enjoy.
Not stoked about it.
No, but it's predictable.
Yeah, it's predictable and it's a compromise.
Yep.
It's more of the lesser of two evils, and then as it's just so telling because the second that he conceded, and Biden put him on that progressive task force, and what did they come away with? What was our win from that task force so far for Biden's platform? What did we get?
I don't know.
Well, we didn't get marijuana.
Right.
We didn't get Medicare for all.
No.
We didn't get anything.
So
we didn't get police abolition or defunding.
No.
So we got nothing. What's left? What's left on the table?
It's
we have
all-
like a 50-year plan or something like
Yep.
that for the environment. Like that's not good enough.
No. It's all performative and it's
Yeah.
all for face value. And, people are easily led when they're scared and hungry and worried about their day-to-day shit. They're not really thinking about how do I change the bigger picture when I got to feed my kids. And we're now at a time where there's so much more of that. So we're at even more of a dangerous time right now where we need to be really paying attention to what they're doing because when they're going to do it, they're going to do it now, whoever the fuck it is. Whether they created this as some sort of conspiracy or not, I don't care to even get into that. We're in the jungle now, and there's going to be fucking animals looking to fucking hit at the weak. And sorry, right now, we're the goddamn weak.
Yep.
We're the ones at the bottom of the chain. So we need to get a voice and we need to fight.
Yep.
And you don't have to agree with us, but I think that's one thing we can all agree on is we need to fight. It's rich against poor, man.
Yep.
That's what it is. Break it down. Get rid of the names and the fucking identity politics. It's rich against poor. Always has been, always will be.
Uh-huh.
It goes
It
back
doesn't have to be.
Doesn't have to be.
But it is.
Have there ever been leaders that, this goes back to, who is that queen that I just watched a documentary about her? The one that, let them eat cake. What was her name? Antoinette.
Oh, Mary Antoinette, yeah.
Just watched a documentary about her kids. I never heard the story what happened to her kids.
Huh.
Fucking poor kid. The 7-year-old got thrown into jail.
After she got beheaded?
Yeah. Well, he didn't even know she was already in jail because they tried to flee. And rightfully, she was a bitch. She sucked. I'm pretty sure, right?
She was also 17 or something.
Wow, I didn't know that.
She was 17 or 19 or something
It's
like
like
that.
Britney Spears running a country.
Well, Britney Spears is 35 or 36 now or
wow.
something, right? So it's like Britney Spears when she first got famous
Right.
running a country.
Okay, I'm a little old. It's like Taylor Swift running a country. I don't even know. the
Taylor
ages.
Swift, I think, is 25
Jesus
or
Christ.
26.
Who's the new young kid? Girl,
I don't know.
teeny
man.
bopper.
TikTok.
Yeah, it is TikTok. I am not on TikTok.
No, me neither. And now, soon, none of us will be because of an executive order from Trump.
Yeah, let's ban TikTok, but not the KKK. How about that?
Taylor
huh?
Swift is 30 years old.
What the shit?
She was born just a few months after me.
Dang, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, it brings me to a point I was going to make. I was talking to my wife the other day, and she was just something she said. I realized your generation is naturally, I think, more politically minded just because you grew up during 9/11.
Yeah.
We had our formative years were the worst thing I had to worry about is when the next Star Wars sequel is going to come out. There was the fear of divorce and nuclear war, which one of those things
course,
happened to
yeah.
me, but I'm still waiting for the nuclear war. Looks like it's.
I was wait, I was on the edge of my seat. Which one?
I was in the dimension nuclear war happened. I happened to survive. I'm here to tell
nice.
you. I'm here to warn you and your people about the upcoming nuclear catastrophe. But no, my point is that a lot of people from my generation, I didn't really get into politics, sadly, till Bernie, because even with Clintons and Obama, it just seemed like, I consider myself a liberal. I was like, well, our side's winning. I don't have to lift a finger. We did it.
Yeah.
Every 4 years, we'd get a new one. Every once in a while, you'd have an Iranian war. but they'd last for like 5 seconds. So they wouldn't even like, I didn't know anyone that died or was even going. It's like, yeah, we bombed them. Well, you guys just called war yesterday. It's already over. Yep. That's how it was, man. It was no Vietnam for me.
Yeah.
Actually, in a way, I remember sitting up at nights and watching Woodstock videos and being kind of sad. Like I was like, I wish there was something to fight for because it felt too calm. But little did I know that this all was coming. I got my wish in spades, son.
Well, there was quite a few like racial riots and stuff happening.
There were. We did have the '90s LA riots thing. It didn't
92?
quite. Yeah, didn't quite come. That was about when I started getting. I was doing a lot of drugs at that time.
Yeah.
I know Perry Farrell sang about it, and that's about as far as it went. I think they did a few benefit concerts and shit. Mm-hmm. And there was the whole thing with the Beastie Boys, and I mean, there were some bands doing some things, and it was cool and it was neat, but it didn't feel like now. But now I'm not really seeing the protest music. Like, where are the big protest concerts? I mean, we can't have them, really, but it seems like there'd be like a concert that was just all for Black Lives Matter or something. It didn't really get that.
Well, I mean, we're in the middle of a pandemic.
Yeah, I guess you can't do it, right? Yeah. Not even a live stream, though, guys. Paul McCartney, somebody with like, what's he gonna do?
Yeah, what the? Oh, we're all in love still.
Hey, Jude, don't kill citizens.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That'd be better.
Yeah. Oh, but anyways, I just feel like your generation has a naturally more inclined mind towards politics. And that's probably just out of necessity. You guys have just seen.
We were forced to. Yeah. I mean, I don't remember life pre 9/11 like I do, but I was just a kid, so I didn't really realize that what the freedom was. I just don't remember. I don't remember it. My entire life has just been post 9/11.
That's true.
TSA and just constant, because there was a giant shift there, obviously, in the entire country, but just in media, no longer was there like in the news, it just became just political commentary the entire time. Like, we kind of lost the idea of the objective journalist. Not that that's even a thing, but yeah, I don't know. It's just, this is just how we've always lived, and so I don't know. And a lot of us grew up not believing 9/11, the official story that they gave us, and so we were worried about FEMA camps. And, we kind of talked about it last time, but watching Zeitgeist and
that was kind of I remember that's sort of the beginning too, or watching those stoned and just being like, whoa. Man, all the religions are the same.
Yeah.
Though there are still some very interesting points. One of the points I like that they make in that is he tells, I think in the second one, how that's just all an art project, by the way, that some guy made.
Really?
Yeah. And
it wasn't legit.
I mean, he meant everything, I guess, and it's all from where he believes things are, but I don't know how do we know how valid anything is? But it wasn't really meant to, it took off, ended up becoming this movement, which this one guy this old dude, I don't know if he's the guy that made it or not, because it's a young voice talking over it. Uh-huh. I don't know if that's the guy, but this guy has a French name. He started the Venus Project and all this stuff that was going to be this whole new social movement. Huh. And I was into it. I liked all that they said, but he would always talk about playing chess with his grandma and how, he always learned no matter who won or lost the game, at the end of the day, you have to put your chess pieces away. And it's everyone's equal again, talking about death. And it's just you got to look at, that's the real message here is you're not, nobody's really going to win this fucking shit, guys. We're all going to the same place. But until that happens, we got some real bastards trying to fuck us all over.
Here's a question I have, and this is what I've been asking recently, and just kind of pops in my head every once in a while. Do people not care about dying? Do they not care about death?
Which people?
Just people.
I think they don't think about it. I think everyone feels
even with just giantly murderous pandemic.
I think people do not think death's going to happen to them, even up until the moment it's happening. I think that's one of the first things that dies is your. I've had experiences where car crashes and things, and you go into this the DMT is released in your brain. Uh-huh. You go into this very surrealistic, dreamlike state of complete shock, really, which can be pleasant to a degree.
It's supposed to usher you. It's supposed to it's a coping mechanism so that you can accept your death. Yeah,
to become a shaman in any of these civilizations, which people can joke about the pygmies and all that, but they produce zero waste. and just heard a documentary all about it, man. They are one with nature. They do not have refrigerators full of food that they might need. They're thinking now their bodies are like ripped and healthy because they're out there actually tracking their food. Though they also
are they cannibals? Aren't they cannibals?
some of them are, and that's the downside I was going to get to. They also can but a lot of that is because we have taken their food, so they have to start eating. Yeah, so many species of animals are now gone, and so they've had to kind of resort to eating baboons and stuff, and baboon brains. Which I listened to a guy named Michael Cho he was on an expedition with one, and the guy's a little crazy. You kind of have to be. He was out there looking for a dinosaur, like legit looking for a dinosaur.
Like an alive one?
Yep. But he goes, I heard the rumors and I was just crazy enough to do it. And it was for Vice magazine.
Oh, of course.
But when you get out there and you see how big the snakes and the frogs are, you're like, fuck, there could be a dinosaur. And that's, it's all dark. That's what they call it, the dark continent. Because when you're in Africa and shit, it's like, Aboriginals are Australian. But I think there's primal groups in every country. I can't exactly tell you where they're all at. But what was my goddamn point, James? Something about
about
fear
the
of death.
Yeah,
fear of death.
Released, yeah.
No, my question. Let's go back. Let's roll all the way back. I went too far. I'm always trying to talk about that shit. I'm sorry. My brain naturally wants to get away from politics. It really is not something I think I enjoy thinking about.
It's not. I don't think this is an enjoyment thing.
No.
I mean, you'd think I liked it because I spend an awful lot of time researching it and surrounding myself with it. But maybe I'm just masochistic or something, or I don't know.
You could be part of like that Hoff movement thing where like you take cold showers because the suffering makes you stronger kind of thing. Maybe you're doing it for that reason.
Yeah.
There's a big movement of that going on.
Yeah.
I always liken it to the bear in the woods when my family's having a picnic, and it's like you want to enjoy the picnic, but how can you really enjoy your life when there's people being snatched out of their houses by police in Portland right now for protesting lawfully? How can you really enjoy your life as a compassionate human being? You could put the blinders on.
Well, are you white?
Yeah.
In this instance, or in this example, are you a white person? Because you can very easily
exactly
go on enjoying your life.
And they do, and we do, sadly. The only thing that I have to worry about, well, I don't know. You were part of the protests.
Oh yeah.
But you didn't nobody took your name down, or did anyone take pictures of you?
Not that I know of. But they've been able to track people. They have these things called stingrays. Have you heard about this?
No.
So they bring out these like portable devices that act like a cell tower. So your cell phones connect to it automatically, and then get routed to the actual cell towers.
I heard of some of that.
All of it's a military device, supposed to be used in Afghanistan and the Middle Eastern wars. The endless wars over there. But we use it against our own civilians here because why not?
Yeah. $748 billion towards the military used against us.
Yes. Plus an additional 30 if the CARE Act the next stimulus act goes through.
I can't give you a stimulus. Yeah. I want to keep just repeating that. So what is it called? Stingray?
Stingray. And so your phone connects to it and it gets all your data.
Yep.
Your location. So obviously your Facebook, blah, et cetera.
So they know whatever they want to know about us.
Right. That brings up another point here with the masks. I'm just going to keep darting around, connecting all the dots here. But people who think that that this is just compliance, that they're forcing us to comply with what they want, that they're tracking us, or the government's in on it to fuck us over, 5G, all this crazy shit. You guys all have phones in your pockets.
Yeah.
You're watching this stream on it. You're listening to this podcast on it. You're watching porn and
we're all tracked.
Jerking each other off on it. You know what I mean?
We're tracked.
Yeah, you're tracking yourselves. The government doesn't need to convince you to wear a mask.
Or put a vaccine with a microchip in it.
Or a vaccine, the Bill Gates.
Do you really... Now, here's a question for you, rhetorically. Well, I don't know if I'm using rhetorically correctly, but it's not a rhetorical question. I'm sorry.
I'm going to answer it, whether it's rhetorical or not.
It's a devil's advocate question, I guess.
There you go. Yeah.
Do you think Biden is the kind of person, or do you think a Democrat would do some of the things? Do you think Trump is maybe overreaching a little more than because even Republicans are going, do you think he's a special case of overreach and someone trying to become a dictator, which we may not get if we had a regular old conservative in there and Democrat? Do you think there is a special case with Trump to a degree with his insanity? Because some of the things, like I was just saying, like years ago, I would have joked about like whatever we're saying on Facebook, but legitimately, if he gets another 4 years, which he's playing nice right now, if he gets another 4 years, it would not be out of the realm of possibility that people that have talked shit about him end up having the police show up to their house, you know?
Yeah.
Which I have plenty of Trump talking, and we have a goddamn podcast talking shit about him. So we would be on the list, probably.
We probably already are.
Probably are. I hope so.
Yeah.
Gosh, if we haven't gotten on the list, it makes me feel like I'm not doing anything. You've done more than me. I mean, you're out in the protests. But anyways, what do you think of that?
Yeah.
I'm just curious what your thoughts are there.
So this is like a common thing, a criticism of the left, or like the certain leftists who say, "Oh, there's no noticeable difference between the Democrats and the
Right.
Republicans. You know, like they're the same thing." And I think what a lot of us are saying that, because I've said that, I think what a lot of us are saying is that there's going to be no meaningful change with the Democrats or the Republicans. Is there a difference between the two parties? Obviously. Like, I don't think anybody who is sane can honestly make that claim, like, legitimately.
Yeah.
Like, gun to your head, who would you rather have, like, controlling the state right now, the Republicans, the Democrats? Of course you're going to choose the Democrats.
I would do it at this point just to make...
Of course you are, because it's fascist.
The gloating
or
of the Trumps.
almost fascist.
Right.
You're going to go almost fascist? Why would you go fascist? You don't choose fascist.
Right. The gloating of the Trump supporters, too. I'd like to really just see that shut down a bit.
Right. There was a part of me that was kind of accelerationist and kind of just like really just salty with the DNC, and I was like, you know what would show them is if Trump got another 4 years, you know, with the assumption that the Democrats would get the Senate.
Yeah.
And keep the House, so that he'd be a lame duck president. You know, he wouldn't be able to do anything.
Right.
Anything meaningful, that they would just be able to keep shooting down his stupid executive orders and whatnot, so that he would be effectively ineffective.
Yeah.
You know, so when I'm saying there was a part of me that wanted Trump, you know, because the option is between Trump and Biden. Of course, I don't want either one of them. But, like, you know, just to be like, fuck you, DNC. Like, we're sick of your shit. So, yeah, again, sick part of me kind of wanted Trump. Now, at this point, I want Biden to get it, just because all of these fucking Trumpers are going to lose their minds. And I want to see what happens with this Trump coup, which actually, so a second thing happened. So I'm going to keep...
the Lincoln folks you're talking about? You're talking about the Lincoln...
the coup. No, like where he's going to attempt to stay in office.
Oh, yeah, that thing.
Yeah. So every time that he does something that I notice that is leading up to the coup, I'm going to bring in the timeline and add it to it. But so on the 3rd, so it was 2 days ago, he said that he can issue an executive order on mail-in ballots. He said he can issue. He wasn't specific about what he wanted to do, and he said he has the power to issue an executive order on mail-in ballots.
And
so that's step 2. So let's look at the timeline here. On July 31st, he said he suggested that we delay the elections.
Yep.
And then what was that? Yeah, 3 days later, he says he can issue an executive order on mail-in ballots. So this is the timeline. It's forming. So I'm just going to keep track of it.
That's interesting. No, we should. And so to be clear, though, he doesn't want mail-in ballots because that's much more of a chance he will lose.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yes.
Though we have mail-in for everything else.
Maybe we'll see a youth vote.
Right, exactly.
If we can mail in.
Exactly.
Which, guys, you can always mail in.
Yeah, you could always mail in.
In Ohio,
Yeah.
you can always mail in for any reason. You don't have to have a reason.
There you go.
Always get a mail-in ballot.
Always mail in.
Just go ahead and just mail in all the time.
It's not illegal.
You don't need to go, stand at a thing. All you have to do is print off an application and then fill it out and send it in. That's all you have to do.
Let's do political ASMR.
ASMR. Hey, Trump, you can suck my dick.
Suck my dick, Trump.
You can lick my balls, Trump.
You will vote progressive. Progressive. Not the insurance company.
Socialism, good.
Socialism, great. This is for my...
Liberalism, bad.
I get why my wife listens to this to go to sleep.
She listens to
yeah,
ASMR.
She loves it.
I came up with an idea with my improv group. We wanted to do a porn ASMR, a BDSM ASMR.
Oh.
So it's just like all the noises, like the...
Oh, we should...
And it just...
Let's do it for one of... Can you throw it on our thing? Our thing doesn't have to always be politically funny.
Yeah.
Let's just
sure.
do it.
Let's
That'd
do
be
it.
great. We're trying to throw in little funny skits like you might have seen earlier because we think, you guys got to laugh too, because we need it. I can't just be, I can barely talk about how we're talking. I always have to throw in something about pygmies or some shit. So it's just hard to keep my brain thinking about these old white fucks. Can you imagine, like I saw a meme today talking about, like, can you imagine if there was ever a year, it seems so far, and it's sad that this seems so far and out of the ordinary, but what if there was a year where we were fighting over two candidates because we couldn't decide which one was the better one? Wouldn't that be amazing?
Oh my God.
Because like,
can't even imagine.
I know, like which one was like, oh my God, they both want health, but he's just so cute and bubbly. I mean, they're both obviously progressive and beautiful people, and they care about the people. They're both like a couple Kennedys that don't cheat on their wives.
Wow.
What the fuck? Why do I sound like Louis C.K. right now?
Or he does cheat on his wife, but it's not cheating because they're polyamorous.
They're polyamorous, and they're both so comfortable
cute.
with their sexuality.
Wow, and they don't care what fucking Christians think about their lifestyles. Holy shit.
Someday we should have a talk about polyamorism, because I find that fascinating.
Yeah, I'm poly.
Are you?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I wanted to do a documentary. I'm sure they're already out there. Just talking to couples, because I have so many questions and so many ideas about it, and I've dabbled a little bit, but I wouldn't say I was aware completely 100% that I was dabbling. Sometimes just like, oh, this is, I'm already in a shitty relationship. It still has to be with a good person. I realize that.
Yeah.
If you're in a shitty relationship, it doesn't matter how many people you know, it's still going to suck.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people will. We can get into it more another time, but yeah, a lot of people will get into it thinking that it's going to save their current situations, and that's not really how.
Well, I know people that get married for the same reason. Yeah. It's like,
right. Yeah,
I've seen couples literally like at each other's throats come back. I mean, this literally happened to me. We were all on methamphetamines, sadly. It's one of my bands, and it was a bad time. But couple went off fighting, like almost going to kill each other, came back crying, saying, we're going to get married. And I was like, that's a bad idea. And it,
goodness.
It
so it's like a meth marriage?
It was a meth marriage to save them from, it was bad.
Marriage. That sounds like a meth idea if I've ever heard one.
It was. It was. I stopped. I did try that drug a few times, and not good. You ever tried that?
Yeah, I did like a taster of it. Yeah,
went to a meth mixer.
Yeah, I was like a ooh, this is good. Yeah, just try it and spit it out. You know, my issue with it was that I liked it too much. I was like, oof, no, can't do that, because you can see the effect of it, and nobody can deny the like. There's no such thing as a bad chemical. You know, chemicals are just
they're just there.
You know, like a structure of molecules, like they just exist, but the effect that it has on most people is pretty negative. So,
well, Kennedy used it, and so did Hitler. So those are both sides of the spectrum.
Really?
Kennedy apparently he had some disease. I forget what it was. Some debilitating disease. But right before he debated Nixon, which was known as his big winning moment, he was shot up. There's a drunk history about it. It's really funny, but it is true. He was shot up with basically methamphetamine, and he did great.
I wonder if that was my fucking accusation with the last debate that Bernie and Biden had. I said I guarantee you they gave Biden Adderall or something. They gave him some kind of amphetamine. I guarantee it. The way that guy was on it.
Yeah.
And not like on it like he was saying correct things or
he just had
saying
more
coherent things. He just had the most energy I've ever seen him have. Yeah. I mean, he's very energetically lying.
Yeah. Was that the one where it was just him and Bernie?
Yep. It was just them. There's no audience.
Yep, I remember that one.
It was kind of, it was back in the days when we were like, okay, here's the last shot, Bernie's last shot.
Yep, back on.
And he had a lot of last shots, but that was his last shot.
That was the one that did it. I love Bernie. I do love Bernie. I always will love him for things he said, but he's definitely he's not. I mean, I think the movement is now basically in the hands of like AOC and the Squad and you know.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We shouldn't put all our faith into one person.
No.
And that's like a lot of like Bernie bros, self-admitted Bernie bro here. We got accused a lot of just bowing down to whatever Bernie said or whatever the platform said and everything. And I was like, no, not really. The second he endorsed Biden, I called him a coward.
Yep.
And and then all the other Bernie bros got mad at me about that. And I'm like, you guys, like, he's the best we've got, but he's still just a compromise.
Yeah, and he's a person.
And he's a human being.
The thing is, if you're part of tribalism is you don't just agree with whatever your team says. You got to check your team too. That's all we're talking about here.
Yeah.
You can't just be like, it's okay. We're not going to condemn Biden of his possible, rapist accusations. It's like, no, you do. You do have to look at that. You have to account for that. I mean, if you're going to...
Will anyone account for that? Anybody in the chat? Anybody want to acknowledge the fact that Biden is a rapist? Because every time I bring it up, everybody just kind of moves on.
Yeah, they move on.
They move on very quickly.
What
about Me Too, guys?
Yeah, where's Alyssa Milano? What's Mike Schiller got to say over there?
Mike Schiller says, adding kids always fixes a marriage. ... LOL.
There's the adding the kids.
Maybe we should add some kids to the Biden situation.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll fix it.
The worst
Maybe
thing...
they can rub his leg hairs.
Yeah. Oh, God.
He can learn about the roaches.
So weird. So weird.
What the fuck?
And I got disappointed in Bernie when recently I heard there was some sort of vote, something about them being able to spy on us. I'm not sure what the vote was exactly, but it came down to like one person, and he just didn't show up for the vote, which his vote would have probably fixed, helped us. And out of all the times he's voted for us, I can't get too mad, but it was just strange that he didn't show up, and then he gave really no excuse for not showing up. And people were kind of...
Do you remember?
I'm gonna have to look it up. I heard this on a thing, and like I said, I don't have all the details, but we'd have to look it up. Maybe just look up like Bernie disappoints during vote or something. Fuck, I don't know. Coming out here with my half-cocked concepts. I'm sorry about that.
As anti-surveillance.
Yes.
Was that it? That looks like that was in May.
Yeah, he failed by one vote in the Senate. And thank you, Schiller, for coming to write on our thing. That's Schiller. He's a drummer.
Oh.
He's an amazing drummer.
Hey, and he agrees. Mike Schiller saying fuck Biden.
Fuck Biden.
That's great. Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
As long as you're not voting for Trump. See, here's the thing.
Yeah.
When I say don't vote for Biden, I'm not saying vote for Trump, because please don't vote for Trump.
He's not a Trump man.
Okay, good.
Nope.
That's a good drummer right there. That is a non-System of a Down drummer right there.
Exactly.
So it looks like the Senate on Thursday took up a key bill to reauthorize domestic surveillance programs while making changes to the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, with several substantial amendments on the line. One of the amendments, introduced by Democratic Senator Ron Wyden and Republican Senator Steve Daines, would have required authorities to obtain a warrant to access Internet users' search histories and browsing information. The amendment, however, met an extremely Senate grave. I don't know what an extremely Senate grave means, but it failed 59 to 37, one short of the 60 vote threshold.
Which Bernie would have helped us in.
Bernie.
Dang it, Bernie, let us down. But I'm only pointing this out.
We can't put everything on him.
No,
we can't
exactly.
rely on him 100%. He can't be the only person doing
exactly.
things.
And that was my only point in pointing that out, was just to say that I will say shit. Like, I would have checked him the whole presidency if he'd gotten it. Who knows? He could have gotten corrupted too. I mean, that's the whole, going back to the thing we talked about earlier. Like, is there anyone that's incorruptible? Are you and I incorruptible? I like beach houses. Are you?
Yeah, the country of James.
Okay, the
can
country
never
of James
be overthrown.
That's right.
I will never succumb to capitalism.
That sounds like a dictatorship. You got to let someone overthrow you once in a while.
It is a dictatorship, and this dictator says everyone's life matters. Everyone, it's egalitarian. I'm an egalitarian fucking dictator.
Oh, you just reminded me of something. I'll save these things. So have you ever heard of this guy? Let's see if I saved it right. Oh boy, let's check it out.
Mike Schiller says #NordVPN. Get on that, guys. VPNs are nice for hiding your data. From the ever-present NSA.
And maybe
George Bush and Obama reading your comments that you put on porn and.
I'm not going to give out too much information about Schiller, but I will say that he would know that. From what he does.
A tech guy.
It goes deeper than that. There's things that I can't tell you, or we will both get killed. He's important.
Oh.
And he's our drummer. So I really can't tell, because then I won't have a drummer.
You won't have a drummer. That's the real reason. Yeah. Well, you don't care about drummers' lives don't matter, but we do need a drummer for the band.
Drummers' lives matter. I think I would get killed first, because they still need him.
For you? Okay.
Yeah, they would just shut me up. I'm not sure about that. But what's this next person talking?
Thanks, Beverly. She said, "Long live the country of James." I appreciate that.
Oh, that's beautiful.
You're welcome. We'll give you a travel visa to come here anytime. It's
a weird name for a site, but from the anti-imperialist Parenta posting, On this day in 1983, socialist revolutionary Thomas Sankara became president of Burkina Faso at the age of 33. He only lasted 4 years because he was killed in a military coup. Sorry, I got to do my glasses like this.
Whoa.
Yeah, check it out. This is what we're talking about. Suspected to have support from the U.S. and France.
No way.
Yeah. Sankara gained the love of his people because of his humble lifestyle, socialist programs, and economic prosperity.
What a bastard.
Sounds like the country of James. This is what they'll do to you. But also his confrontation with the national elite as he stripped power away from them and for challenging Western imperialism and neocolonialism in the continent. In those 4 short years, he lowered his salary to $450 a month and limited his possessions to a car, 4 bikes, 3 guitars, a musician, a fridge, and a broken freezer. All right, that's very exact.
Got to keep that broken freezer.
Yep.
Recycle, reuse.
He sold off the government fleet of Mercedes cars and made the cheapest car sold in Burkina Faso the official service car of the ministers. There's more on here. I didn't save it on my phone, but go check out Anti-Imperialist Parent posting and check out this thing they did yesterday. I think it was yesterday. But I never knew about that guy. That's just one of many people that tried to be a good leader. Mm-hmm. Probably, well, he had enough. Because there's a point where, like, didn't they say there's a point where, like, at $50,000 or something, you're like, you don't notice. Like, I'm going to say this. I probably have a couple thousand saved right now. Mm-hmm. And when all our bills are met, which usually they are through our jobs, I don't even notice that couple thousand. Like, it doesn't exist because I'm not spending it. Unless I'm going to go on a vacation or I need to take a little because it's a rough month. Mm-hmm. Like, that money doesn't do anything. It's just sitting there. Yeah. So I can't imagine, so they said there's a certain amount of money you can have where you don't notice the difference because you're so rich. And I think it's only like 50,000 or something. But like, these billionaires, that is
50,000?
I think maybe it's 500.
That's still pretty like low.
Is it pretty low? Okay, maybe it is. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm bad with numbers.
Where you don't notice that
500,000 maybe.
Maybe that's $500,000. Yeah,
I think.
I don't know.
Either way, billions.
There's a certain amount you can make that you can't spend in your entire lifetime.
Yeah.
And like you couldn't.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know.
You couldn't, and
maybe you could buy a country or something. I mean, the country of James is not for sale.
It is not for sale. This is why billionaires should not exist, because we talked about this a little bit last time, but they hoard wealth. Okay, so if you earn $50 million in your lifetime, you'd consider yourself rich, but you would still be $950 million away from being a billionaire. Mm-hmm. A billion is such an incomprehensibly large sum of money that it's difficult to actually spend. That's what we mean by hoarding wealth. There's absolutely no reason why anyone should hoard more wealth than they can spend in their lifetime, while others are homeless, starving, and dying of curable diseases. So the idea of a billionaire existing naturally goes against humanity.
It does. It's evil.
It's evil. It just shouldn't be.
And here's the thing, like when we talk about the idea of like socialism, like, oh well, what kind of motivation is there going to be to keep producing or to like innovate, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's like, look, there can be other versions of currency. We don't have to like have this consumption mindset from upon waking up to going to sleep. Like I'm a victim of it. Like I'm like, ooh, I want to own this microphone. I want to, this like, whatever. This guitar is sweet. We all have it, but what if instead of the desire to consume products, what if we had the desire to consume experiences?
Yep.
To learn new things, to meet new people, to go new places. Like, there's more to life, a lot more to life, than man-made objects.
I know, and the more pacified and comfortable I am, the more depressed I seem to get. The more trinkets I surround myself with, it's just like there's a certain amount of stuff I'm comfortable with, but then it gets to be like, I do love experience. Some of the best times of my life have been being poor as shit.
Oh yeah, dude.
Just because you're really thinking, man. You're firing on all cylinders because you're like, I got to survive, and you find that you have friends. You find more connection with people because you realize who's actually going to help you and who you're going to help, and it causes you to be more compassionate as well because you see people in those positions, and you're like,
Mm-hmm. That's why this pandemic has been so rough on me, and I feel like for other like empaths and artists, because we've been stuck at home, and like, it just becomes more capitalistic because it's like, what am I gonna do? Like, I bought a bunch of video games, that I never even played, just to like feel like I had some kind of control over something, and like,
a lot of people are doing that. I've been hearing,
doom scrolling, and it's it's death for the creative soul
It is.
to just sit on the couch and rot away.
That's why this podcast is very important for us, and we're going to do it even if you guys don't listen, because we both need someone to yap at, and it's someone to be around. We both are pretty sure we don't have the disease, right? I mean,
I do. Oh shit!
Dang it!
Should have I told you that before?
God, yeah, James.
Dang it! I'm sorry. I just really wanted to see your face, and I kind of didn't care if that face eventually died. You know?
Well, it's gonna die anyways.
I actually read this. Somebody took a screen grab of this woman who was like, "Oh, hey, by the way, I was diagnosed with COVID.
I think I saw
2
that.
days ago. Yeah, and like, sorry about that. I shouldn't have taken my appointment." And she was like, and you know, the nail salon, the nailist.
Yeah.
She was like, "I asked you if you had any symptoms. Why the fuck wouldn't you tell me that?"
I know.
And she was like, "Oh, sorry. I've been under quarantine for 2 days, and I was going stir crazy. And my nails really needed done."
Oh God.
There are so many stories of people just not
Giving
being
a fuck.
viewed as human beings.
No.
Like, I want to read another
That's
thing,
a horrible one.
that I posted, that because it took me.
You know, at that point, why even tell the person that you already fucked over? Like, I would just not. If you already possibly infected them. That's why I'm sorry. I hate to say it, but like, just asking someone if they have it probably isn't the best bet. If I were that nail salon person, I'd have a thermometer there.
Yeah.
Have a fucking, I know there's certain podcasts. Well, when we went to the Dave Chappelle thing, they didn't test everyone, but they did at least the thermometer, which that's okay, but you could be a carrier and it cannot be kicking in yet.
Exactly.
But something. It's something.
So here's a tweet that I read that just absolutely floored me. This morning, the young barista woman told me that a customer came in with a mask but not wearing it. When she asked the customer to put on her mask, the woman said, "Why? There's no one in here."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that treat her like a serf. Yeah.
They don't view us as people. Dude, it took me a couple times reading that. I was like, what is happening here?
Yeah.
I was like, I don't understand.
It's almost unfathomable.
It was for me. It took me a minute
Yep.
to like understand what the fuck was happening here. Oh God, she didn't think that the barista was a person.
Compassion has to be. I mean, compassion is like. Can it be taught?
I don't think so.
I know.
Or at least it can be unlearned for a while.
Yeah. It's messed up.
And this goes back to the question that Hannah asked us, like about the bars closing at 10.
Yeah.
Is that a good idea? Yeah, but honestly, you know what would be a better idea? The bar's not opening at all.
Yeah.
And and then an even better idea than that, the bartenders and servers and all of those people at home getting paid by the government of the richest country in the world, so that they don't die and kill other people.
Yeah, that's what Canada's doing. They're giving $2,000 a month. It's not ending. It's not some stipend. It's not some fucking, they actually did it and they're coming out of it. New Zealand, same thing. All the countries now, it's all coming back. The countries that have taken care of their people, it was a couple months. Their economies went a little bit to shit. They weren't able to buy an extra fucking $1 trillion jet maybe that they just leave in the desert waiting for the wars to come. Which I have heard a podcast the other day actually talking about China's military is like the way they're positioned is so much still more advanced than we are. Just how they're positioned, like all that money we're putting in our military still doesn't make us even the most powerful. Even though we're paying all this money into it, they're still
Really?
they have it's all about the advancements people make, and like they have these things that can just like take down some of our most expensive shit easily. I have to listen to all the details here. It's in the Mysterious Universe, most recent one.
Jesus Christ.
But it's like you would think, and we're not getting anything for all that money.
No.
That they're turning the military against us. Like we're not saying take money away from the military completely. Just they are making it's $745 billion a year.
Yeah.
Canada only spends $21.9 billion, which you said is still too much, which you're right. But look at that vast difference.
Yeah.
And they say they don't have the money to give to
The
us.
vast difference.
The vast difference. We used to always say, "I'm not Eddie Vedder than you are." Okay,
Eddie Vedder. So we got a couple comments. We're probably running short on time, so we should probably answer some comments real quick. And then we'll skedoodle. So Beverly followed up and said that she can certainly relate to this current topic. Complacency too is a virus.
Yes. Which
And
part? Which part are we
100%.
talking about? Just the
I think the whole thing.
yeah. People not caring about each other.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yes. So don't spread the virus. Care about other people.
Mm-hmm.
If they make less money than you, they're still a person.
Mm-hmm.
If they're a different color than you, they're still a person.
It's getting into
If they're a dog or a cat, they're still a
they're
fucking
still a person. I love them. To me, they're more people.
They're more people than people.
I'd
Well,
rather-
not my cat. My cat's a fucking asshole.
I've met some
I love
asshole
her,
cats.
but she's definitely a cunt.
Well, they don't care about you like some animals do, and they also have that weird thing that can get in your brain. It's from like a rat disease. It's called like toxa something. You ever heard of that?
Oh, is that like cat scratch fever or whatever?
Something where it can basically, it's this thing that it gets into rats so that it gets into cats. Anyways, it can make the rat go to the cat because it really wants in the cat.
Oh,
it's weird.
cool.
It's creepy shit.
Man, maybe that's what all the people on the right have.
Dude, I was going to say that, and that's completely that. You're smart, man. You think right. Because they were saying this virus could be so smart, it's infecting people's brains to think, don't wear a mask. Yeah, man. And then type that on internet, because the internet's basically a virus. It's
It
an
is.
idea virus.
Yeah.
You make a meme, that's a little fucking thing that infects minds.
Yeah.
I mean, half the shit I fucking have said was from a meme.
Oh yeah.
I don't like
Like
reading.
we said before, the only news we actually get is Twitter screen caps or screen grabs. Sorry, shared to Facebook.
Yeah.
that's my. entire
That's most of
news,
it.
so-
But you just have to
I'm
decipher.
just kidding, but
Did you see I can tell which ones are fake though. Did you see the guy that tells the story about the Antifa guy that comes up to him and he's like, "Hey man, you want to go bust some people up?" And he goes, I looked at him.
oh yeah, with his
I
belt
lifted up my
buckle.
belt, said, "Don't tread
Don't
on
tread
me."
on me.
And I said, "What do you think?" I mean, it's like, fuck you.
Like I'd like things that didn't happen for 300.
yeah, exactly.
please,
That is such a loaded story.
Jesus Christ.
Anyways,
So Mike has another comment. He said, an officer gave me 2 pieces of advice. Property equals good liberty, and never wear a pair of shoes you can't run a mile in. What if you can't run a mile anyway?
what was the property equals good liberty? Is that sort of the thing you were talking about with landlords earlier? Is that in that same boat, or am I not picking that up right?
So, not property. I'm sorry. He said poverty.
Making
That changes. That changes the whole meaning of the sentence. I was like, I don't really follow that one, but okay. So poverty equals good liberty, and never wear a pair of shoes you can't run a mile in. But what if you're so impoverished you can't run a mile, or you're so fat because the only thing that your food stamps can afford you is Mountain Dew and Cheetos
right. Those are
And-
true points.
and McDonald's. So
You can still eat rice. You just got to choose to eat cheap. Rice is cheap.
rice is good. That's a good source of
Vegetables are cheap, man. They're giving that shit away.
yeah.
You go
Vegetables.
to, it's like 7 cents, and it's gonna go bad. They just eat vegetables and rice if you have to.
Yeah,
Don't go to McDonald's, guys.
that's what I had last night for dinner.
McDonald's.
No, veggies and rice.
The palm oil in the fries is killing the orangutans in the jungle.
Really?
Well, it's why they go in the. You see those sad videos of the orangutans hanging on the trees.
They're
like,
milking the orangutans for their
uh,
oil.
they're taking the palm oil out of the jungle, and that's killing their homes, and they're just hanging out there. It's burning them down. It's
shit.
that's part of McDonald's and shit they do.
McDonald's.
Yep.
All right, guys. Well, on that depressing note, I think we're gonna sign off for the day. But thanks for coming out and for staying in and getting on the internet and talking with us. And again, we're the Rad Left. You can find us on Facebook. We started a Twitter account. I'm not very good at Twitter yet, but I'm gonna do my best. And if you guys interact with me on there, I'll get better at it. And we have a YouTube channel, so you can check out Music for Moderates 2, the commercial for that on there if you would like to learn about some great tunes in the moderate, the annals of the moderate music hall.
It's a re-release too. These are the same songs from 2016.
Yeah, the exact same songs from Music for Moderates 1.
Yeah. We love you guys, and thanks for coming out, or
Yeah.
whatever, writing. Thanks to Schiller and Beverly and whoever's listening. Stephen Crone, he's a funny guy.
Oh yeah. Thanks,
All right,
guys.
bye.